With every person comes a weakness, and I just realized mine at the latest moment, and I thought, okay, this isn't a weakness at first, and it really started back in when I was like 13, 14, when I had the ability to like buy some things. Well, actually no, 14, 15. That's when I got a job first. And what happened was I saw the ability that I had, like this power, I guess, quote unquote, to like use money, right? It's basically a tool to get you all the resources you need. And I was like young, right? So what happened was when I got it so instantaneously. Also, when not having instant gratification, I mentioned this, it's similar with people who probably are on their phones all day. They get everything that they need from everything, quote unquote, that they need on social media because everything just pops up in their feed. They can get any form of entertainment. And this was the same concept playing with me when I first got money, and also being first introduced a little bit into social media, right? I mean, I didn't really interact with it, but social media in itself, when I started getting a phone, this is where I started to download my own apps. And obviously YouTube was in its way, it's social media, it is social media technically, and by having a phone I was able to access that more. So it's the same concept with me thinking I needed to be less frugal and that I had more ability to buy things. And with the ability to buy things, right, now there is this opportunity in which I can explore what I can invest my money on. And by having more opportunities, I took some that I actually regret so hard. And I thought at the beginning, because also I didn't really need certain things, like I wasn't the typical person or girl who needed makeup. I didn't go out to concerts like people who were partying every day. I didn't get food every single moment because why get food if everything is cooked at home and there's snacks at home already prepared for me. And also I'm not really into like clothing brands and basically those type of stuff, right? But I didn't realize I had my own flaw of investing my money, and this came with figures, dude. I'm telling you, I thought at first it was just like a simple interest, but that interest slowly expanded into something much bigger, and I realized it only later on. Well, honestly, I was really frugal at the start with my money, but as time progressed, the more money I got, I started to be more confident with buying some things. And by being more confident, that led into my biggest weakness ever. And like, I know most people spend their money on things differently, but there's this common thing, especially with teenagers and young adults. Pop Mart, guys. Pop Mart has been the big thing in the modern day and age, and I can say with firm conviction, I've been, slightly guilty with being one of those people who are kind of addicted to, looking for figures. And if I'm, even though I'm not buying them, I always have this thought in my mind, I'm going to go online and browse. And when you keep buying these things too, you get the short term attraction from it once you buy it. But for most figure collectors or hobbyists, I think if you see those people online with their um on YouTube or in Pinterest, you see like this one board where people have this whole collection, especially for anime. And boy, oh boy, starting a collection for Hatsune Miku, it is very addicting. And yeah, I don't have like those. I'm not one of those people who have like a whole like 10 times of shelves. Like I only have well, only, I can't even be saying only, bro, like, well, in comparison to the numbers that I've seen online for people who have bought Hatsune Miku, where they have literally a whole room and maybe their whole house even filled with Hatsune Miku figures. But basically I have like just one, like 7 figures, I would say, roughly. I'm outside and I did record some content of my room right now, so which I just showed, but I don't know exactly if that's the right number, but that roughly around that range. But it just amazes me how people do have the money. Of course, if you afford it, fine, but how much that could have been used as well for other things. And I don't blame these people. I don't shame these people because obviously I'm already falling into the trap, as you guys already know, that I'm expressing in this video, of becoming a hobbyist, and maybe later in the future it might grow big and my whole room goes. But I'm really scared in which that case comes, because I don't want to be obsessed with that, or looking for figures every single day. Like, it's another plan of investment compared to other financial needs that I need to be actually putting my time and focus into, especially with college, or I don't know if other programs that I'm going to go into, that's also more important in the case of matter right now. I think why it's been my biggest weakness also comes with passion. And you can be passionate already about characters or certain cartoons, right? But I always like to express it even more so in real life. Like, there's like a sentimentality to it when you buy figures, and you kind of get hooked to that sentimentality, but you don't see it in this minimalistic approach, right, where you just appreciate the character for what it is. But if you think, oh, I need this certain object or figure of that character because I feel like there's something in my room that can just I could look at and I appreciate, right? And yeah, that's a cool thing. But I slightly regret it for characters, especially if it's a blind box. This is a different story. This is what really makes you realize where your weakness runs at, because if it's a blind box, dude, opening that box, and if there's that one outcast character, that one reject, and not maybe a complete reject, but you know how there's some characters in a like blind box for you guys who opens blind boxes, right? There's at least 90% maybe that you like on that list or that you see in the box, right? And then you feel so out of luck when you open that box and you see that one 10%, that one figure that you would be fine if you got the other figures, but that 10% that you just got, you feel like you're out of luck. And that's the case with it, bro. You also feel like you're running out of a little bit of gratitude at the same time, because it's just a blind box, I think at the end of the day. But it's also really cute. But that's also the trap. So why I'm gonna use this as, a lesson here for you guys who are in your younger, like, teen years. Don't make the mistake I'm making, like, with always thinking that you need to buy some figures and keep buying more and more. Obviously, if you're a hobbyist, go at it. And if you have the money to afford it, okay. But these are also luxurious items. These are things you technically do not need compared to, real life stuff. Like, if you're spending money on things that are actually worthwhile, like, I'm trying to spend it more on books and art crafts, because books is more, you can read that for like a whole month and actually be satisfied with the book. And obviously I would have to do my research first before buying that book. But also, why I also spend it on art crafts, that's something that I'm creating, and I can create characters that I like, and then like show representation of my passion for that character and whatnot. And I think that's more important. What do you see? What do you see that actually will bring a long-term benefit to the table with your money? Because also you grow up too and realize things are going to get more financially hard. They're cute, and I won't deny that I'm kind of pleased by very cutesy figures and finding some sort of room aesthetic or theme. But this is 2026, guys, and with economy nowadays, it's getting hard, right? With inflation, and you have to be careful with your money.